welcome. I am Trixie, the truck stop waitress. With the way my voice sounds, I'm going to give up that 10-pack a day smoking soon. No, I'm Debbie, and I'm so glad that you are here. I'm glad to be here. We have a lot of fun in store, though I know nothing, so please do not blame myself or Bruce for anything that takes part up here on the stage by our spouses, but we're really glad you're here. So it's my privilege to introduce the stars of the Behold podcast, known as B-Dub and Craig-a-Woogers, or Beth Whitney and Craig Hardinger.
What was that?
Hey, Craig.
How you doing, Beth? I don't know if we're on.
Are we on? Can you hear
so.
us? Okay. There it is.
There we go. Okay.
Wow, what a great
I
round of applause.
This is great. So what's with the piped-in crowd noise?
Well, we've been talking. We didn't know if just Bruce and Debbie were going to show
I know,
up. So
yeah.
I wanted to give us a little hype.
And hype you did, So
here we are.
Good job. But that is really how Behold podcast is behind the scenes, is things when the microphone's not on or whatever, we just stop. And so it's important to know that tonight is not a service, a church service, all right? It's a recording. And so there may be some times when we stop and start and we say something again to try to get it right. And all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And that just happens.
It does.
And it's usually your fault when we do that.
Always my fault.
Yes.
But you know what? We're gonna have a great time tonight, and we'll go over all the things that we're gonna do. You get to participate, so get your brain cells pumping. But before we do that, Craig, we always like to start our show with we call it banter, right?
That's right, yeah.
And you got to go on a really fun trip that you were kind of dreading.
I whined the whole way we got there. We went to Disneyland. Our son and daughter-in-law took us as a Christmas present to Disneyland. I thought they loved us, but and they took us and our two grandkids. And I am not a fan of Disneyland. It's fun. It's not vacation to be in a sea of people,
right? And
stand in line and all that kind of stuff. And Beth, we went, and it was one of the best vacations I've ever been on.
Debbie, did you take notes of where's Debbie?
I don't know where she went.
Debbie, take notes.
She was with the gather group.
Yeah,
back there.
You got that? The best vacation he's ever had.
But let me tell you why. And it was because obviously Silas and LJ, our grandson and granddaughter, they've never been.
Your grandpa?
I don't like to talk about it that much, but they've never been. And so the morning that we were going into the park, our sliding glass door was open. And I was sitting there with LJ, Linnea, I get to call her LJ. And she goes, and she could hear the compressor to the hotel out in the square. And she goes, Papa, do they have a bounce house? Because that was her idea of the perfect place. And I said, baby, no, they don't have a bounce house, but it's better. At that moment, I was lying to her. But Beth, it was perfect. It was just, and can I go on here a little bit? Because we'll cut it out.
Yeah, go on.
If it goes too long, we'll cut it
more.
out. The thing I loved, and this is what I've noticed that I've been to Disneyland 4 or 5 times. It's been 20 years, though, since I was there.
Okay.
And so we were with Silas and LJ, and Silas was totally into the rides. I mean, just rode everything. He loved it.
How old is he?
He's 7.
He's 7,
And
okay.
LJ, who's 5, could have rode on the rides, but she wasn't into it.
Okay.
She was into the characters and the princesses. I mean, if you saw Eeyore or Tigger or Captain Hook or Elsa, she made a beeline. And the longest line I had to wait in was a line with LJ to go see the princesses. Because you go in and you meet, I'm telling you guys all know this stuff probably, but you go in and you meet one princess, and then you go into another compartment and you meet another princess, then you go into another one and you meet another princess. And so me being the best grandpa ever says, I'll take LJ into that. Longest line of the whole trip. We go in and she meets these princesses I'm not really familiar with. I knew Cinderella. I didn't really know the other ones that well. But you guys, I could not believe how they treated my granddaughter. I know they're paid. But if they had just knelt down, given her a hug, for me to take a picture, I would have walked out thinking, that was really nice. Mm-hmm. They spent 4 to 5 minutes with her, asking her different color, and each princess asked different questions. And it was great. And we get out of that, and that same day, we hear that Tiana is in the park. Now, you all know who Tiana is? I didn't know who that was. But Tiana was in Princess and the Frog, I believe.
Yep.
And so Steph, our daughter-in-law, and LJ, they beat feet to try to find Tiana, and they caught up with her, and Tiana was going off duty. She was walking to wherever they have a break, wherever princesses go to break. And LJ went up to her, didn't say anything, and Tiana just grabbed her hand, and they walked through the park, just together. And Steph was trying to keep up and all that kind of stuff. And for me, that was just, she didn't have to do that. She would have gotten paid, her paycheck would have said the same thing, but they just do that and then some kind of thing. And obviously that makes me jealous for the church. What if we were that way? We were and then some people. It's great to shake hands. Hey, how you doing? My name's Craig. Your name is somebody that I'm going to forget next week. But what if we were then and then some kind of people that, you know, what we do, we go beyond what is expected in relationships. And so that was great. It was just a blast.
Love it.
It was a lot of fun.
Disneyland is fun. The last time I got to go was with my adult daughter, which was a whole different experience.
Oh, yeah.
So fun.
Yeah.
So
it was good. I would go again as long as my grandkids went with me. And they stayed 7 and 5.
Debbie, he's it's on record. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. It's fun to let people kind of into our lives a little. Which is why we do that opening part of the show.
And sometimes it's just white noise, when sometimes it's we enjoy it.
We do.
Because we don't really talk a whole lot in the office because it's just no fun. But the only time we really talk is when we're on air and we're doing this show. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, I got you a gift. A little end of the season gift. And I really hope you, Bernsey helped me pick it out, all right? And so here you go. Happy Behold podcast.
Giant Peruvian Inca corn snacks.
Yeah,
So
corn nuts.
Giant corn nuts.
These are the best. These are corn nuts. And if you want to have a few during the podcast, feel free. You just gotta chew in the microphone.
I don't want to do that to our friends.
All right. Anyway, enjoy. Bruce will enjoy them if you don't.
Thank you, Craig. This is so thoughtful of you.
Yeah, I know it is.
Thanks for thinking of me.
Yeah.
Did I do that right? Is that how you're supposed to do? Thank you. If you don't know the inside, it's on one of the podcasts.
It's on one of the podcasts this season. Yeah.
Craig airs my dirty laundry. It's fine. All right. Well, you guys know Craig and I, right? We're the co-hosts. We get to be the voices or the face of the podcast. But there's people who you and I, there's a lot we don't know.
Yes.
About making a podcast.
And they put a lot of time in.
And we don't have to know because we have people like Chris Vaughn, Ruth King, Ethan Pravat, Janice Schwartz. We have folks behind the cameras tonight. So can we give them all a big round of applause?
And by the way, the song that these guys played at the opening when all of us over 60 said, "That's too darn loud." Ethan composed that. And that's his song, and so we really wanted to, and you'll hear it again.
Cool?
At the
Yeah,
end.
it's so cool. Yeah. We didn't want some like smooth jazz opener.
Or, NPR, hello
Yeah.
friends, welcome to Behold podcast.
Wow.
We don't want that, no.
Okay, so you've used your NPR voice. I wonder if we'll get the monster truck voice.
No, not tonight.
I've got the Valley Girl tucked away just
You've got
for
the Valley
later,
Girl, that's your
so
secret weapon.
That's my secret
Yeah.
weapon.
Yeah.
All right, so here's what we're gonna be doing tonight. We have a season 5 quiz for you all. Hopefully we had enough A, B, C, and D's for you. If not, you just have to hold up 1, 2, 3, or 4 for A, B, C, or D for our quiz. You see there's a mic stand right there. You get to ask Craig questions.
No.
Yeah.
Ask us questions.
No, you get to ask Craig questions, and
Ask
I'll say,
us questions.
that's a good one, Craig. What do you think about that? No, you get to, you can ask us questions, but as you're sitting there listening and participating, be formulating your question, okay? We love hearing your questions, but don't ramble. Because then it takes up all the time, right? Keep your questions short and sweet.
Said 2 Bible teachers, so don't ramble, yeah.
Give us a mic and we'll ramble.
Right, yeah.
Which I think I'm doing right now. But anyway, be thinking about that. But we're ready for the quiz. Are you ready for the quiz?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And the questions are going to pop up on the screen behind us.
So get your cards ready.
Get your cards ready. If you don't have your cards, A is 1, B is 2, on and on. So everyone stand up. And when you get eliminated, you have
Leah's
to
ready.
sit down.
Leah is
ready.
ready.
I see Will's ready. Okay. All right.
I don't know if you'll be able to read off that.
I don't know. Here we go. All right. What season are we wrapping up? A, 4, B, 5, C, 7, or D, 6? Okay.
Hold it up.
Hold your cards up. And the correct answer is B. If you did not pick the right one, have a seat. Thank you for playing.
Oh, wow.
All right, the next question. Craig and Beth discussed the dangers of A, alcohol, B, cannabis, C, fluoride, or D, heroin. Hold your answers up. All right, the correct answer is B, cannabis. We did a whole podcast. Okay, sit down if you got it wrong. Next question.
If you got it wrong, why did you get it wrong?
All right, Irina Kachuk, I've been practicing.
Nice, good job.
Is a missionary serving in Rwanda, inner city LA, Russia, or Ukraine? The correct answer is Ukraine.
You know, these people
they're
actually
good.
listen to the podcast.
They're good.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. Maybe my questions are too easy. All right, what's our next one? This season, our historical episode was about the fall of Babylon, Judea, Bethlehem, or Jerusalem.
Got some indecisive
I know.
ones here.
Okay, the correct answer? Jerusalem. John Hatfield got it wrong. Craig.
Oh, sit down.
But now the people behind him can see. So
That's true, yeah.
All right,
yeah.
next question. When Beth interviewed Jeff D., how many takes did it get for her to get his last name right? Now, hold on. I pride myself in doing one takes.
You are a one-take wonder. That's very true, yes. And that wasn't the way
you
it
weren't
was.
there, so thank goodness, because
Well, I heard
you teased
that-
me mercilessly
yeah,
about it.
yeah.
All right, so hold up. How many times you think it took me to get his name right? A1, B2, C5, or D more than 5? What's the answer? 5. 5 times. Okay, the crowd's thinning out. But look at our teenagers. I love this.
Nice,
Good job.
not bad.
Good
You
job.
guessed, didn't you, Hannah? Yeah.
Hannah, good guess, Hannah. All right, next one. What book did Craig and Beth review? A, Familiar Stranger, B, First Serve, C, Faithful Servant, or D, Finding Strength? There's a theme there. All right, hold them up. Reveal. Familiar Stranger. Oh, we lost a few more.
We're losing some.
Okay. All right, next one. What was the original name of the podcast? Beyond, Belief by Belief, Brick by Brick, or none of the above? Correct answer? Brick by Brick.
Brick by Brick,
Yes.
season 1.
Okay, ooh, we got some good ones here. Okay, next one. Where did Beth have lunch in Maui? McDonald's, Applebee's, Taco Bell, or Costco? Costco.
See,
It was $3. It was $3, okay?
It's just wrong. It's wrong to go to Maui
$3,
and eat at
Craig.
Costco.
$3.
All right, okay.
Okay, next question. What Bible reading plan does Craig currently use? Robert Murray McShane, Robert Schuller, Robert Jeffress, or Bob Jones?
Bob Jones?
I was looking for Roberts, okay? The correct answer, A.
Robert
yeah.
Murray
Oh,
McShane.
we got some wrong.
It sounds like a dance studio, doesn't it? You know, I went to the Robert Murray McShane dance
School
studio.
of Tango.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Craig wrote a book. When introducing him, Beth called him Dr. Hardinger. What kind of doctorate does Craig have? MD, PhD, THD, or D-Men? Correct answer? He has a D-Min. And funny story, I was going through the podcasts to pull questions, and on Spotify, it automatically segments it out, and it said, Dr. Hardinger, Demon, D-E-M-O-N.
And she didn't correct it. She just left it.
I just got the giggles, that's all.
Yeah.
All right, do we have any other questions, or is that the last one? Oh, okay. What was our most viewed or listened to show of season 4? Christianity and Narcissism, Self-Harm, Do Dogs Go to Heaven, or Intertestamental Period? Okay. Correct answer? Christianity and Narcissism. Okay, we lost a few more.
Oh, this front row,
I
guys are
know,
looking
good job.
Man. Somebody
All
studied.
right, is there one more? Tiebreaker number 1. What does Beth say right before the intro music? Let's go, here we go, way to go, or go Giants? Here we go. Here we go. Good.
It should be go Giants.
Okay,
but
I know.
yeah.
There's another one.
Yeah.
Tiebreaker number 2. Fill in the blank. Craig had his blank replaced mid-season. His knee, his teeth, his hip, or his ankle? A. Are we still, okay.
We still got these guys.
Are there
right
any
here
more?
And right here.
Any more? I think, is that tiebreaker 3? What NBA news story did Craig and Beth talk about? A, has LeBron's complaining gone too far? B, Mike Bibby is hired as Sac State coach? C, Luka is traded midseason? Or D, the Sacramento Kings trade for all-stars?
I don't remember this one. Was I there?
You were there.
All right.
Correct answer? C.
Oh, that
Okay.
cleared him out.
Wait. Is that? Okay, if you were standing that last question, come up. We have coffee cards for you.
Yep. If you're staying for that last one, good job, you guys. It's still a little suspect that all of you are in the same row, but you know it is a church.
They were all feeling the spirit.
Yeah, and that was fun. I didn't see some of those before, and so it was kind of fun to just take a trip down.
Take a
memory
walk
lane.
down memory lane, yeah.
Yeah.
Good job, you guys. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Like, it's
Yes.
really cool
Yes, we're very grateful
that
for
people listen to.
that. Yeah. How many of you, just real quick, how many of you watch the YouTube channel when you listen to Behold? And the others are audio, you're on Spotify or whatever? Okay. So probably less than half
Yeah.
watch the video.
Yeah.
And the others are
But
on.
Spotify has the video too. So
Oh, does
you
it?
can do
Okay,
mhm,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
That's good to know. That's important to know.
That is good to
Yeah.
know. All right. It is time
For,
to open the mic.
oh,
Who will be first?
anyone but Debbie.
You know what? If you have a question, the first person I'm going to give a coffee card to, just because I know it's scary to be the first one. So if you have a question for us, for Craig, come on up to the mic right here. Ask us a question. Yay, Melinda! Woo!
Melinda is thinking as she's what can I ask? I just want the coffee card.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, Melinda Keller.
I'm going to start it off easy. You've both been married for a long time. What is a game or activity you do with your spouse on the regular?
Game-wise?
Yeah, game, activity, thing that you like do together quite a bit. G.
Why is everyone laughing?
Totally G.
Somebody wants a coffee card real bad. So I didn't hear the first, an activity that we do.
Activity or game you like doing with your spouse?
Well, Debbie and I, we're cribbage players. Like on, a vacation, or like even just the other day, it was really nice. And so we got the cribbage board and we played cribbage outside. And guess how many times I won? Zero. And I mean, we love going out to eat, walking. That's about it for us. How about for you and Bruce? You guys have a date night, date day.
We do. Thursday night we go out to dinner, but we haven't played in a while, but we played, was that yesterday? We played yesterday, just pick up basketball at the gym.
Oh, I saw on your Instagram that you won.
I did.
Really? I tell you, man.
He's a very good husband. I think he kind of lets me win.
That's all right, though.
It's
That's
fun.
good.
It's fun to just be silly and how am I going to beat this
Yeah.
guy who's a foot taller than me, but I'll try.
Yeah.
And it's just fun.
Yeah,
It's a fun way to end in the
Now,
gym.
you guys, Debbie and I, we have certain shows that we watch somewhat religiously. And please don't leave the church when I tell you what the show is. I think you watch the same one. We love, I know it's weird, but we love Survivor. We watch Survivor all the time.
Okay.
And kind of talking about it. Anybody else watch Survivor? I heard class.
Yeah, there were some cheers out there, yeah.
Good. We watch that all the time. That's one show that we record every episode.
We don't have a set show, but we love watching sports together.
Yeah. Yeah, Debbie loves watching sports.
Especially in the baseball playoffs. You know this. So our daughter works for Major League Baseball doing social media, and she gets to travel to the different series, the World Series, and a lot of times we'll catch her, the camera will catch her.
Well, has she come to San Francisco yet? Or she?
No, it's in a couple weeks.
Tell them what she's going to do.
So her team is going around and doing stadium tours, and they're going to do Giants right after Mother's Day.
It's Oracle now, right?
I don't know.
I think it's Oracle,
Whatever it's called. I don't know. AT&T, is that?
No. It's Oracle,
okay.
yeah.
But so they're doing the stadium tour. There's Korean Heritage Night, and then Wednesday's a day game, and she's going to be out in a kayak with the guys that are out there all the time
out in right field.
to try and catch the balls.
How cool would that be?
Yeah. So that's her job.
But she'll get some camera time, probably.
She'll probably get some camera, and it's fun because we'll rewind and is that her? No, that's not her. Oh, is that her? And it's just it's fun to see your kid on TV doing their job, I guess.
Yeah.
So
That's neat. That's neat. Good question, Melinda. You get a coffee card. All right.
Props to you.
Anyway, and you don't have. It's just if you had people have asked us questions about what goes on with Behold and all that kind of stuff, and so we thought let's just go ahead and have that opportunity.
Ooh, I think Miss Janice is coming. Awesome. Ladies and
The
gentlemen.
way she's walking, I'm a little scared.
I know she looks a little. Ladies and gentlemen, Janice Pierce.
Yes. Craig,
Yes.
one time in your life you were in a singing group. Tell us a little bit about that. How long did it last, and what part did you sing? Would Chris qualify you as part of being in the choir, or, any of that? Thank you.
Yes, I was in, from 7th grade all through college, I was in a singing group of some type. And in Idaho, you could actually play sports and be in singing groups. You didn't have to make a choice. And so a lot of my athletic friends were in the choir as well. And when I got to college at Corbin University, I went there to play basketball, and they had tryouts for a music ensemble called Master's Touch, which would never fly now, but Master's Touch. And so my friend and I, who was on the basketball team, we decided to try out, and we made it. And so we took an entire year off of school, and we traveled coast to coast everywhere. We sang in Atlantic City, we sang in New York, mainly in churches, Christian schools, Christian colleges. We sang at Arcade Church, and this is 1980. We sang at Victory Christian School. You were probably in first grade at the time. But we sang, and we had like 300 concerts that year. We made an album. It went aluminum. And
There's a few copies floating around. Do you
in
have a
fact,
record
Andy
player?
Matsky, the pastor at Sun River, went on eBay and bought one of our albums for $5. I can't believe he. I thought my mom bought all the copies, but apparently not. So
And
anyway.
you really, really liked your singing partner, right?
Well, I got to be careful
Oh,
because
she might listen.
they live in the area.
Oh,
No, my singing, I'll say it. My singing, she had a beautiful voice, but we did not get along all that well. And, but we had to be this close to each other as we sang, because I held a microphone and she sang soprano, I sang tenor. And we just didn't click. And right now we're fast friends. We just, they go to a different church and her husband's a pastor and so we it's great.
Good.
But
That's
at
good.
the time, I would have loved
that
to
would
have a
be
different
really
partner.
hard to travel with someone for a year
Yeah.
and have to share like space with
Yeah.
them.
There was 12 of us in a bus, and we traveled. I think we put 60,000 miles on or something
my
like that.
gosh.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Wow. Good question, Janice.
Thanks, Janice, so much for. What's that? What part?
Would Chris allow you in his choir?
Oh,
You
No.
sang at a BACP a few years ago, Big Arcade Christmas
yes.
Party.
When I think it was Brian's first Christmas as worship pastor, I said, I want you to do Hallelujah Chorus, because that's one of my favorite Christmas songs. And he gets ready to do that, and he asked me to come up and sing with him. And I really did enjoy that, because I love the Hallelujah Chorus. I grew up singing that, and
Yep.
so that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. More questions?
So coffee cart for Janice,
'Kay.
coffee cart for Melinda.
Okay.
Oh, Phil.
Phil Stolarski, ladies and gentlemen.
So Pastor Craig, as a member of Arcade's Elder Board, who is your favorite elder?
I think it's pretty clear.
Victor Bruce.
It's who?
Victor Bruce.
Well, it would be, but he's not on the board
Oh,
this year.
okay.
So
I thought that was
I feel-
safe then, 'cause he's
I
not on
feel
the
really
board.
bad. Of course, it's Phil Stolarski.
Oh,
Of course. But seriously, Phil is a wonderful elder
Yeah.
in our church.
Yep.
I'm very grateful for him.
so when my youngest daughter was in the toddlers class, he served in the toddlers
Yeah.
class and got to know
Are you still
Sarah.
rocking babies? You and Cindy, you don't, okay.
He's retired, I
You used to
think.
go and just rock babies. That
Yep,
would be a great ministry, I'll tell you that.
yep. All right, who else?
Stewie.
Leah Stewart. Uh-oh.
Hello. How have you seen evangelism change over the last 30 years? And what do you need people that aren't following Jesus to hear about Jesus to make them interested?
That's a great question.
That's a good question.
You want to go first? You want
Sure.
me to?
So I remember being a kid at a different church, small church, and we did a Saturday of going around and knocking on doors
Yeah. So do we.
and leaving tracts if they didn't answer and praying they didn't answer because super awkward, right? Like, hi, you don't know me, but here's a thing that says Jesus loves you. And I was like 12 and it just was weird. So I think we've gotten away from that, like bombarding a stranger.
Yeah.
And created more of an idea of, I love Jesus more than anything in the whole wide world. And if I'm going to talk to you more than once, you're going to hear about him.
Yeah.
And not in a forceful way, and not in a, if you were to die tonight, where would you go? I mean, that doesn't seem like it produces the kind of fruit we want
Right.
to.
It doesn't engage.
Right.
people.
And
Yeah.
so I think getting to know people and just practicing having Jesus be just a part of your conversation. And what do people need to hear was that the last part? The gospel's good news. It's really good news, right? Our creator, the king of the whole world, came to earth as a baby. Like he was a fetus in his mother's belly, helpless. The king of the world.
Yeah.
And he did that for you. And that wasn't all, right? I could give you the gospel in a nutshell,
Yeah.
but what people need to hear is Jesus is good news. Jesus loving you is good news. How much your Creator loves you is good news. And I think that approach is what people these days need to hear.
I couldn't agree with you more, B. I love that response. And I guess the way I'd respond is very similar to that. I think because you and I are probably trained the same way, even though we're a different generation. Two things, Leah, that I would say is different nowadays. When I learned evangelism is very episodic and is propositional. That here are the facts, and if you don't receive Christ in this one conversation, well, I can't help you. And I think that more now, it's less propositional. It's still truth, but it's much more narrative. It's much more telling the story of Jesus. And two, I agree that I think now when I talk to people about Jesus, they're okay with hearing about sin. We tend to think that we're putting them off if we talk about sin. All they have to do is look at their own heart or look at the newspaper or around them and know that sin is a problem that humanity cannot fix. And so I think telling the story of Jesus and why he came into the world and all of that is very, very powerful. It takes more time. It's more relational and less episodic. Because we did the track thing.
Yeah.
And I praise God for people like that because the good news is going out. I just question the fruitfulness of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What
Good
other
question.
questions? Good question, Leah. Thanks. Pat Pearson.
Are you running out of?
Well, I didn't say everyone got a coffee card.
Actually, I don't drink coffee, so.
You don't drink coffee. Perfect.
What?
Look at her. She has enough energy without it.
Yeah, I know.
I do take chocolate.
Oh,
Chocolate.
there you go.
Okay.
Dark.
Corn nuts?
You're back in.
Corn nuts?
Corn nuts. My brother used to eat corn nuts, and know that ministry has a lot of challenges and a lot of joys. And so what would you consider the greatest or most heartbreaking challenge? And what would you consider one of your best joys that you can think of?
Okay, if I heard correctly, the best challenge in ministry, is that right?
Hardest,
bend
like most
that-
heartbreaking.
The hardest.
Hardest challenge in ministry?
And then greatest joy.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'll go first this time. For me, it's the lack of fruit in ministry, and in ministry, you two know that you rarely see it, and you trust in the sovereignty of God that it's there, but you rarely see it, and so that's probably the hardest challenge is getting through that, and that's where our theology matters, because if it were not for the sovereignty of God, I would not do what I do, because people are very gracious many times, but you're not looking for thanks, you're not looking for gratitude, you're looking for change, and many times you don't see that until decades down the road, kind of thing. So that's the hardest challenge is that it's not a difficult thing to be a pastor at Arcade Church. I make it difficult in my own heart many times. And I think that's probably most of the things that we deal with in full-time ministry and leadership is just the introspection. If you let it just sucks the energy out of you. So that would be the hardest challenge.
What's the greatest joy?
Change lives. Change lives. And there is a pattern of changed lives. That is the greatest joy. That is the most wonderful experience, to see someone who has changed simply because of the gospel or because of, and I don't have to be involved. It's irrelevant that I'm involved. Is it through biblical counseling or your ministry or whatever, all of a sudden this person's life is done a 180. And that is a great thing to see. It's wonderful. It really is. Yeah. How about you?
Greatest challenge. We have a lot of kids who are hurting, and I can't fix them.
Yeah.
And loving kids through their challenges, walking alongside parents who are dealing with kids with challenges is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because
Well, I've seen you. It does tear you up. It tears you up when
Right.
you see that. Yeah.
you know, whether it's, we have a lot of precious kids who've been adopted and have, you know, which is wonderful, but they have history that maybe we don't know what happened to them that is, you know, we see it in their behavior, or we have kids who are special needs that require an extra dose of patience or understanding or just an extra layer of preparing.
Yeah.
We have kids who have health issues that, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've prayed imagining the 4 friends from the roof lowering their friend in front of Jesus, praying, Lord, see my faith for this child, right?
Yeah.
That breaks my heart.
Yeah.
And I think the greatest joy is how much our kids love Arcade Church. And it's because of everyone, right? The kids are welcome here. It's okay if they're a little loud or squirrely. It's okay, you know, if they're running through the lobby or they get in the drums after church or whatever. The way our church loves and cares for our kids is reflected in how much they love the church. I mean, from the itty bitties up. I mean, we've got high schoolers here.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really cool to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many of you grew up in a church? Maybe not this one, but you grew up in it. I mean, can you remember when the service was over or at potlucks and you would just run around in the church? I mean, it's Disneyland. It's just, and we have that.
Yeah.
And I want them to love the nooks and crannies and hide. I caught 2 little boys in the staff kitchen going through my stuff. But I mean, I love that.
Yep.
I love that.
Yep.
That this is their place, and
Yeah.
they run freely, and they love that. It's very powerful.
Yeah.
Good question,
Yeah.
though. Thank you. Yeah. Steph, oh, this could be dangerous.
Could be.
So this might be a follow-up to what we just did, and you guys have very different, you have roles, different spheres. Imagine that you would switch roles for a week or some period of time that you define right now. What would you want to make sure the other one sort of gets an experience to help them understand the part of church that you spend your energy on?
So if Beth became lead pastor and I became the director of family ministries, that's so Stefan, isn't it? Well, if you were lead pastor, I would say this: relax, because these people are wonderful to preach to. So just give them the word. That's what they want. They want the word. They want to know what the word is. They want to know Christ. And there is this collective congregational hunger that this fellowship has. And they had it before you or I got here.
Yeah.
And so they were well taught. And so don't feel like you have to teach them anything new. Just give them the gospel, and they will receive that and love that. That's what I would tell you, probably.
Awesome.
Okay, what'd you tell me?
I would tell you to what?
Because we don't have that kind of time, right? Yeah.
Well, Craig, let me open my corn nuts. I would tell you to equip and unleash your team, because like Nick, Andrew, Madeline, and Yelena, they do not need
They are amazing.
managing. They don't need a hands-on, like,
Yeah.
did you do this? Did you, like,
Yeah.
I just get out of their way because
Yeah.
they're amazing. And
Would they say that?
there's Elena.
Oh, come on.
Aw, thanks, Elena. Get out of their way. And kind of the same with the volunteer. The kids ministry volunteers are spectacular. I mean, to the point where I'll just mention names. Jeanette Hall
Yeah.
serves in the 1st and 2nd grade classroom, 2nd and 4th Sunday. And she started off, I would ask her if she wanted to serve. This was like COVID time. No, I don't want to. Okay, I'll help you think of songs the kids will want to sing. Okay, and now she, basically the 2nd and 4th Sunday, we don't even have to think about. And it's not because she's doing everything. It's because we've said, okay, here's the new volunteer. Oh, you have Julie now, or oh, you have Amanda, or here's Alex. And next thing you know, she's found out what that person's good at and is like, hey, why don't you prep the craft? Or would you like to do this? Or how would you like to serve? And so this volunteer, unpaid volunteer, has taken ownership of 2 Sundays a month where we don't have to worry about a thing.
You
And so
trust
I
them.
think you just
Yeah.
let them go. If they say, can I? You say, of course.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, so can we make this about me again?
of course.
Okay, what would you tell me then? If I was doing your job,
Yeah,
is
I
let
would.
them go.
I would tell
Hands
you,
off.
yeah, get out of the way.
Okay.
Like say yes
I
and
can do
get
that.
out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say this, B, your team, your staff and the volunteers, they take a bullet for you. They really would go to the mat on your behalf. And, you know, Yelena, you did that really rude outburst, but still. But I hear that in the hallway all the time.
Well,
from
I would.
all of them. So,
I'd take a bullet for them too.
Yeah.
And I learned that from you. So if you guys don't know, I served with Craig for 7 years, 7 years.
7 years, yeah.
As his admin, and I learned so much about leadership from you. Leaders deflect credit and deflect praise and accept blame. Leaders don't throw anybody under the bus. Leaders stand in front of their people and take it. And I learned so much.
Oh, good.
Just
I
kind of by
appreciate that.
osmosis, but also watching you do that exact thing. So, yeah.
Good, thank you.
All right. Who else? LT, do you have any questions?
This is Carol Biggs.
Oh,
who
wait.
told-
Yeah, after Carol, go up to the mic, okay, LT?
Carol, before you talk, you still hold the award for the best joke during Morning Stir during COVID.
Thank you.
What was the joke?
You want to tell the joke? Do you remember? You want me to tell it, or you want to tell it?
Well, I think you've had more recent practice, so you go ahead.
Okay. Okay, for Morning Stir during COVID, we had that morning program, 15-minute program, and Debbie and I would tell jokes, and Debbie would say that they were stupid or laugh, one of the two. And the joke that I think we both lost it, we just both lost it, is, did you know that the people in Dubai don't like the Flintstones, but the people in Abu Dhabi do? See?
Will, where are you on the drums?
I know it. I mean, it's just, I still laugh at that joke. It's still the best joke, Carol. Anyway, go ahead. What?
So when I've listened to the podcast, I've just been curious, so I thought, here's my chance to ask. I think you both have very full schedules, so now that you've added the podcast, what does the prep look like for that, and how does it fit into your week? Just kind of curious, like behind the scenes, what goes behind producing it?
Good question.
You want to go or you want
Sure, I'll go.
Okay, go ahead.
It's kind of like a passion project. So we prepare in the minutes and moments that we have. Like I was off work for a couple weeks, and that's when I read The Familiar Stranger,
Yeah,
which is the book
yeah.
we reviewed. Just finding pockets of time, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, or maybe I'll block out an hour a week to prep, like during the season. But Craig and I usually will meet ahead of, like we had probably an hour-long meeting ahead of the season where we sat down, okay, what do we want to talk about? What are the cultural hot topics? What are things we think people want to know or hear about? Or what have we heard, you know? And so that hour kind of set us up for the season. And then as we prep, we'll meet maybe 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there. We do a lot of like live Google Docs back and forth where we'll just
What
kind of
about this or what
communicate
about
that
that?
way. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
The prep work takes longer than I anticipated. Like for example, the cannabis show.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
And so we had to read up on it. You did some research, I did some research. If we want to do a book review, we got to read the book.
Right.
And that takes time. The historical series, even though I taught that in seminary, I have to bone up on that. I've got to kind of reread that and do that. And
Yeah.
so that takes time. That's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why we take the summer off, so to speak, so that we can be able to have an idea of how we want to prep for the next season, because it does take time.
Yeah.
And plus with our team, it takes time for them as
Yeah.
well. I mean, the things that Ruth and Ethan and Chris have to do behind the scenes just to get the room ready, the studio ready, takes time for that. And so I'm very grateful for them.
So here's a fun behind the scene thing. Normally we record 2 shows in a day, and we bring change of clothes. So it looks like we've recorded on 2 separate days.
Yeah, 2 separate days.
But I'm like, okay, I'll change my Apple Watch band and put different earrings on and do my hair different.
I do
like
the same
you.
thing. I change my earrings, put my hair in a bun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we try, because of the time it takes to set
Yeah,
up and tear
yeah.
down and all that, we try to record
Yeah.
2 in a day. Yeah.
And 2, you may have seen the whiteboard out in the lobby. If there are things that you would love to listen about, let us know, because it's likely we don't know much about it, but we will learn. I mean, we're both learners, and we love to learn about the things that interest you. And so if there's something out there, or a show that you'd like to hear or listen to that we haven't done yet, then go ahead and write that on the whiteboard. We'll take that very seriously. We'd love to know what your thoughts are.
Okay, LT, you're going to have to take the mic off and talk into it, okay? Go to the mic stand. This is LT, everyone.
Hey, LT. There you go.
What's your favorite TV show?
Oh, what's my favorite TV show?
Oh.
Are you asking both of us or just me? Both. Okay, well, you said Survivor. I don't know if that's your favorite or
Right.
not.
Yeah.
I love true crime because I like justice and I like when they catch the bad guy. There's a show called The First 48. It's been on for like 18 seasons, and I've watched every single episode. It follows the detectives get the call. There's a homicide, and they have to get out there, and they have 48 hours to find a suspect, or it kind of goes cold. So it's the first 48 hours, and they kind of give you an insight into how they use cameras or DNA or fingerprints or cell phone records and all of that. And just watching these men and women do their job really well is...
So it's a reality?
It's real. Yeah, it's
not
real.
dramatized?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
All right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Good.
So Survivor your favorite?
It probably is. It's our favorite.
Okay.
I like it, but it's our favorite. My favorite would be probably a documentary on a historical figure, or, ESPN does 30 for 30.
Yeah.
And they do a sports event. I really like sports history, and so I'll YouTube that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question, LT.
Good job. LT's one of my favorites. Don't tell him. I said one of my favorites. Okay.
Hello, hello.
This is Chloe.
Hi, Chloe.
Hi. So, do other religions that believe in Jesus go to heaven?
Other religions that believe in Jesus. Well, it probably depends on what they believe about Jesus, right? And so I think the short answer, Chloe, it's a good question. The short answer is anybody who confesses Jesus Christ as Lord and believes in their heart that God raised him from the dead will be saved, regardless of the religious stripe that they have. And so there are people of different denominations, different religions that believe that with their whole heart. I believe that they're saved, that their sins are forgiven. So there's not one denomination or one religion, so to speak, that holds that. But the umbrella religion would be Christianity. That person's a Christian. They've embraced Christianity as a belief system for that.
Does that answer it? Good. Okay. Cool.
Good question.
Thank you. Okay, Char Clark.
She prompted me with this question. So,
Stand a little closer to the mic, Shar. Thank you.
with regard to the religion, you have somebody who might have been baptized as a baby. And then that person is like, I'm baptized as a baby. Wouldn't necessarily walk in Christ, but believes they are saved. What would you say to that person? Are they truly saved?
I think it goes back to the answer you just said.
Yeah,
do they believe in
yeah.
Jesus as their
Well,
Savior?
they believe that Jesus, yeah, I believe in Jesus.
The baptism
but
doesn't do
walking,
anything. Yeah,
The walking's not there.
sure.
Yeah, the baptism means nothing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But that would be true of an adult that gets baptized like we had today, and they don't believe in Jesus, but they get baptized. They're no more saved than anyone who's not baptized.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah.
Thanks, Shar. Who's next?
Oh, we got one.
Yes.
Hey, Bob. Is that? All right. Go ahead and take that off the. Just slip that out. There you go.
Pastor Craig,
You got this. You got this.
how long have you been a Christian?
How long have you been a Christian?
How long have I been a Christian? That's a great question. I confessed Jesus as my Savior when I was 9. How old are you? How old are you?
8.
8? I was 1 year older than you are right now when I confessed Jesus as my Savior. My brother Mark, who's several years older than me, told me about Jesus while we were playing ping pong in our basement. And I just started crying. And we stopped, and he said, then you need to become a Christian. How do I do that? And he told me about Jesus. And so I'm very grateful for that. That's a great question. Thank you.
Good job. Thank you for being brave.
Yes.
Good job. Hey,
Mr.
Chris
Martin.
Martin. Uh-oh.
Hello.
He's been prepping for weeks.
I know, yeah.
I really have not. But, so it's kind of maybe like a double question. So with where we are at with the church, where do you see this particular church going over the next 10 years? Like, is there a succession plan? I'm not trying to put you in retirement. I'm just asking. Is there a succession plan? So that's like, kind of like the church, okay? And then where do you specifically see this church going within the next 10 years?
Because I heard succession plan and...
Well, yeah, that would probably be when your answer about how you, with this particular church.
Sure.
I have no idea what that looks like, so just curious.
Yeah, if I understood the question, it's two-pronged, like you said. It's where do I see the church in 10 or 15 years? I think you can respond to that. I'll respond, but what do you think?
It's going to get real young because Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they're on fire for Jesus. And yeah, it's true. Like the research backs it up. And if you watch...
Real quick.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who aren't familiar with Gen Z or Gen Alpha.
They're the youngins, the kids,
Yeah.
right? I think teenagers are Gen Z, and then like probably elementary, like Ezra, you're probably Gen Alpha. Yeah. You know what? There's the future of the church right there in that little man right there. That's like our young people at Arcade Church are blazing hot for Jesus. And it is so exciting to see. It's overwhelming in a good way.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're going to see. The church, a lot of churches are old. And there's a lot of old people in the churches. And
What do you mean by that, Beth?
That's just facts.
It is a fact.
Don't
yeah.
be sassy britches with me. But the statistics show young people are believing, young people are following Jesus, and not just because we go to church.
Yeah.
Like people don't go to church, young people don't go to church because it's cultural. They go to church because they love Jesus.
It's interesting because, a lot of the studies are all this talk of deconstruction that you hear. It's not those generations. It's your generation and mine that are deconstructing.
Yeah.
The Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they are taking seriously the gospel of Jesus Christ. And they're going to be the ones that go and die in countries as missionaries. They're going to be the ones that lead the way with that. It's very exciting. And so I agree with you that the next 10 or 15 years are very bright if those of us who are older understand that, it's not going to be the way that we had it. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
Right.
I
You said I was
interrupted you. Go
right.
ahead.
No, you said I was right. I'm just confirming.
What's that? No, it was a burp.
Did you guys hear that? I think you
sorry.
said I was right.
It's just gas.
I just love it.
Yeah.
I love it how much you hate it. It's great. No, I think, yes, like we, I'm Gen X. We those of us who are Gen X and older are going to have to make room.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to be okay with the way young people dress.
Yeah.
And the way they wear their hair and the kind of worship music they like and the version of the Bible they read. And we have to make room.
But they already are, those generations already are, and they will continue to be so thoroughly gospel-centered
Yeah.
that I really believe that they will be leading us older ones
Yep.
in ways.
Yeah.
As far as succession, I mean, it's a good question, Chris. I know you were probably uncomfortable asking it, but in 10 years, I'm not going to be lead pastor in 10 years. I'm 66. Who wants to follow a 76-year-old lead pastor kind of thing? No. Get on the camera. And so, yes, I am always thinking about that, is that there comes a time when my age will get in the way of what Beth was just talking about. And I don't want that to happen. Debbie and I, we want to die Arcadians, but not necessarily in that lead position. Honey, who's our role models? Our role models for Arcade. Findles, Rod and Diane Findle. Do you know them, Chris? They sit over here every Sunday, or almost every Sunday. Debbie and I want to be them one day. He's a former pastor here. They've retired. Both of them are the most loving, encouraging, motivating people. They, at least to us, they never complain. They never complain about the volume, about the music, about this, about that. They're always saying, we love what's going on. We love it, and we love you guys. Debbie and I want to be that.
And they're in their 80s, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for saying your age, Rod and Diane.
So all those kinds of things, those things are talked about. Absolutely. Yeah.
Great.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Chris.
My daughter has a question.
Emery, ask it. Ask your question, Emery.
Go ahead. Speak loud.
Miss Beth, when did you become a Christian?
Good question. So I have this very vague memory of being about 3 years old. Seriously. In the living room with my mom and my older brother, and kneeling. We had like an ottoman in our living room, and kneeling and praying. But then when I was about 5 years old, I went to a Christian school, and we had chapel, and they always asked us at the end, if you want to know more about Jesus, you can raise your hand and talk to your teacher. And I went and talked to my teacher, and I think when I was 5 years old was when I became a Christian and started following Jesus. So I was a little girl, yep. Ezra, did you have a question?
No, we've asked enough.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Maybe one more.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh,
okay,
here we go.
Colton, we got it. Oh, 2 more?
2 more. We'll do 2 more.
2 middle schoolers.
Where's Northcutt when you need him? Yeah.
Colton Lynn, you guys?
Yeah. What got you up Sunday morning, especially like during COVID, to come here and do what you guys do?
Say it one more time.
What got you guys up, like to come here and do what you do, especially during COVID?
Okay, what got us up to do what we did during COVID?
Well, go ahead.
That was tough.
Oh, it was very tough.
It was so sad. I mean, you guys know.
Yeah.
We all think about COVID and it just hurts, right? It hurts our hearts. It stunk.
Yeah.
Not getting to be with our people, not being in the hallways together. Craig, the first few weeks you would preach to an empty sanctuary.
This became a storage room.
Yeah.
We should have taken pictures.
Yeah.
But there was just junk all over the place that we needed to have on the platform. Yeah. I can remember the first Sunday that we were off. We were away, and we had recorded the service, and Deb and I were watching the service in our living room, and I just started crying. And so I just can't watch this. And so I went for a bike ride. I just couldn't watch it. It was just so weird and things. And to the, I believe that God has called us to shepherd people. And when you can't do that, it's very, very difficult. And that's one of the reasons why we did Morning Stir, is we've got to find a way to connect with each other, because we just can't go on like that.
Yeah.
And so we did the Morning Stir, and all that to find ways to connect with people.
We did all kinds of things. We made care packages.
Yeah, you went.
And me, Elaine, and Kelly Burns was on our team then, and we drove to hither and yon. I mean, y'all drive far to come to church.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
So we divided up the zip codes and we drove these care packages around. We did Zoom Sunday School, which was hilarious because we would play a worship video and everyone's streaming was a little off speed. So all these kids around the video are singing, but not, it just was like, wow.
Yeah.
And we even did kids camp, a virtual kids camp, which was depressing, but it was something else.
But I wish
it was something else.
I wish you could have been in one of our virtual staff meetings.
Yes.
Because to a person, every single staff person would say, what do we got to do? How do we care for our people? What do we have to happen? You came up with the care packages thing, and someone came up with this, and I think it was Jen Benson that organized everyone to make sure everyone in the church was called to just check in and do all that. And so it was, and on top of that, every decision that we as leaders made was a wrong decision in somebody's eyes. And so that made it even more difficult.
Yeah, we lost people because we were too conservative, and we lost people because we were too liberal.
Yeah. And so we, that's the way it goes. But good question.
Okay, we have one more.
Back.
Philip, right? How do you say your last name?
Vasilioglu.
That's a good one for you.
Vasilioglu.
Like that.
Vasiliova?
Yeah.
Boom.
Boom.
First try.
Show off.
That's right.
What do you guys like most about your job, and if there's something that you like least about your job?
What do you like most and least about your job?
The job itself, I love our staff and our elder board. Anytime I can be with our staff or with the guys on the elder board and their wives, it is always a plus. Sunday is always, it's more stressful than it is anything, just because you want things to go right and you want to make sure that people are connecting and things. But the staff, I tell you, we've just got a wonderful staff.
Yeah.
And a really great elder board.
Yeah.
These are good and godly people that we have.
Yeah.
What I like least, meetings. I don't like meetings. I like strategy type stuff, but like budget types meetings, I'd rather eat barbed wire than be in a budget. But you have to do that. We all have jobs. You got to do stuff, right?
Yep.
And that's one of those things I'd just soon not do. How about you?
My favorite part of my job is kids camp. It's about an 8-month process because we write our own curriculum. So
Now, I want you to hear that. We write our own curriculum. Most churches buy it, and we have the funds to do that. You're just so discouraged by what was out there.
Yeah.
And so, was it 3 years ago?
this is our 3rd year. Yeah.
You decide to write your own, and it's amazing. It is so good.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun. And like today we had teen training, which is a part of it. And I think there were like 50 young people in the room that we're just giving them tools in their tool belt, and to be able to look at them in the eye and tell them without lying that you matter, you're doing kingdom work, and we couldn't do this without you. I love it. I love kids camp. And I think my least favorite part of my job is anything involving an Excel spreadsheet. I like breakout in hives. I always mess it up. And so like Madeline and Elaine and I have a spreadsheet with everyone who's signed up to volunteer for kids camp. And I don't touch it because I'll mess it up. And I've tried the tutorials, I've tried the YouTube, and I'm just never going to get good at Excel. And you know what? I've made peace with that.
But be around people who are.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
the key.
Yeah.
Good.
Really good questions, you guys.
Yeah,
thank you
very
so
much.
much.
We really appreciate that.
Right. All right. Next thing. So, season 5, what was either your favorite show or your favorite segment of a show?
Well, my favorite show was any on the historical ones, the intertestamental period or the fall of Jerusalem. Probably the intertestamental period is the most intriguing to me. There are so many primary sources on that period of time. And, I was a church historian. I taught that at Western Seminary, and so it's a chance to exercise that muscle. And
everyone loved it.
It
was very
I
popular.
Liked it. And you acted interested, so I thought that was really good.
I was totally, no, I had to act like I knew what you were talking about beforehand. Remember, I read the Wikipedia page, so I was prepared.
Yeah, right. How about you? What was your favorite?
Okay. it was the interview with Irina Kachuk. I realized
That was amazing.
Like looking at this woman, like I have heroes of my heroes of the faith are like Amy Carmichael, Corrie ten Boom, women who have long been dead that I'd never meet. And here in our, like I'm getting goosebumps, here in our presence is this woman who's a hero of our faith. And she's living and she's talking to me and she's my friend. And we get to hear about the work it was incredible.
If you haven't listened to that episode, I would really encourage you to go back and do it because it really, her English is good, but you got to listen, and it's worth listening.
It is.
And the young people listen to that. That is what, I picture Irina being a member of one of the 7 churches in Revelation. That's the kind of Christianity that she and her husband Peter embrace.
Yeah.
It was very humbling and honoring to be in her
Absolutely.
presence.
Yeah,
That was good.
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so like we said, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that happens. And
Too much.
the team made us a present.
Yes.
And everyone else gets to enjoy it.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
My hair is like,
I know, girlfriend. Mine's all over the place.
All right, I forgot to ask. Phones off?
yes, yeah,
Does anyone keep their ringer on?
no.
Much to my wife's chagrin. Leave your ringer on. It's exactly how she sounds, too.
I think we're recording.
Oh. I love you, Debbie. Bye.
Rolling with the homies. Craig's gonna be so sad he missed out on this.
He will.
Wide.
Did he call me white or you white?
He called the camera wide. I swear he did.
Okay. That helps more people to discover our show. I think that's all I have to say, and I should have finished differently. Let's do take 3. Dang it! Chris!
Simmer down.
Simmer down.
Simmer down.
Simmer down.
See, I don't like the fact that you're taller than me.
I'm not taller than
Yeah, you are.
Sit
Look
up
at that.
straight.
I am sitting up straight, Mommy.
One smart fella, he felt smart. 2 smart fellas, they both smelt fart. See, it's hard. You can't do it. Now you do it.
No.
Come on,
No,
Craig.
you can't make me. No, I refuse. Smart
Felt
fella.
smart.
He's felt
2
smart.
fellas, they both felt smart.
2 smart fellas. They both smelt fart.
Yes!
And I said it slow.
Yes,
I
yes.
said it slow. You're not recording, are you, for that? Why is that? Why is my face big? Huh?
It's gonna be like that today, huh? Welcome to Behold. I'm Beth, and today I have a guest with me. It's just Craig, but I call him Dr. Hardinger in this episode. I have a very special guest, my friend Jeff D. Dang it. Tell me how to say your last name.
Villalta.
Villalta. Okay, we have to do take 2, sorry. Via Alta. High road, Via Alta. I have a very special guest, my friend Jeff D. Dang it! V-I-L-L.
A-L.
A-L. Take 17. Man, I'm usually one take wonder. And I have the privilege of interviewing. Maybe we should have Jeff D do the intro.
Rollin', rollin', rollin'. Gee, my butt is swollen.
I thought you were going to do that.
Huh?
You know, you have a potty mouth.
Dang it. That's my curse word.
Man, wow. I tell you. That was good.
Thanks, you guys.
That was Ruth King who did that.
Yay,
and
that
so
was
you
funny.
Did a good job.
Apparently, she cut it down from like 10 minutes. There were 10 minutes
Yeah,
of
there's
bloopers.
10 minutes of that stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so future plans. We have some stuff planned for you for next season, which we'll record some over the summer, but we'll drop everything like come September.
Yeah.
We're going to interview more missionaries because I like doing that. I hope you
We've
guys
got
like listening.
2 or 3
Yeah.
on campus.
Yeah. And like we said, there's a place for you to put your ideas out in the lobby. We love kind of figuring out what's a hot topic culturally and doing a deep dive into that. And we're going to talk about eschatology. Did I say it right?
Yeah, you did.
So, Craig, tell us about that.
I don't want to. Well, no, we are going to reserve some shows just for the Revelation series because, questions will come up, and it's a disputable book of the Bible. And so we want to deal with some of the things that we really can't do on Sunday morning, and we won't have time for Revelation overtime. And so we're just reserving a lot of that stuff for about, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 episodes on eschatology and all that.
Yeah, it's going to be a good season. So catch up if you've missed any shows. But it's time to behold, Craig.
Yeah, and this is, by the way, this whole thing was kind of the brainchild of Beth years ago. And if you've ever sat in a brainstorming meeting with Beth, her favorite words are, what if? What if we were to do this? What if we were to do that? And she came up with the idea after we took away the brick by brick. She came up with the idea of behold, because that's an arcade word. We use that a lot. We have a Behold Sunday, and it's a very important Sunday for us. And so we want to make sure that every episode that we end beholding Christ, that we just don't glance at him, but we behold him. And one of our favorite go-to passages in Romans chapter 11, if you've got your devices or your Bibles with you, turn there. And it's the beautiful thing about it, and I'll go into more detail than I would on air. We may want to cut this out, but Paul has just written these 11 chapters of this incredible Mount Everest of the gospel. I mean, it's just beautiful when you read Romans 1 through 11. And it's almost as if he puts his pen down after he's writing, or his scribe does, and he just becomes doxological. He gets into a doxology because he's just blown away by the goodness and the grace of Jesus Christ. And so, in fact, this is the first text that I preached on when I came here as pastor. In chapter 11 of Romans, verse 33, "Oh, the depth of the riches, both of the wisdom and the knowledge of God, how unsearchable his judgments and untraceable his ways. For who has known the mind of the Lord, or who has been his counselor? And who has ever given to God that he should be repaid? For from him and through him and to him are all things. To him be the glory forever. Amen." That is the Christ that we behold. And the purpose of the Behold podcast is to try and talk about things that we can't typically talk about on Sundays, but also to reach people that we may not be able to reach on Sundays. And so that's why every episode, I never say it right. Subscribe, share.
Smash that like button.
Yeah. But
no, say it.
Huh?
Say it.
I can't. I never
it's
get
okay.
it right.
I know it's my job to say it.
Say it.
Subscribe, comment, like, share. Yeah.
And we just want to reach an audience that may not darken the doorways of Arcade Church. That's the whole point of what we're trying to do. And we're very, very grateful for that.
Yeah.
And so to end, we've got the outro
of
the band. Hit it, fellas. Cookies in the lobby. Thank you so much for coming. Stick around. We'd love to talk. And that whiteboard out there for future episodes, we'd love for you to contribute to that. Thanks for coming, you guys.